Hi gang, Sarah Hill of the Veterans United Network. We are so glad that you joined us this evening. We have a very special hangout, the second episode of Heroes Hangout with Jeremy Lin. In our hangout tonight, athletic heroes with military heroes, and we are so glad that you joined us. A reminder, you can be a part of this conversation even if you're not inside the hangout. We want to converse with you outside the hangout as well. So you can tweet, you can post on Google+, Facebook with the hashtag Heroes Hangout. We are monitoring those comments, and if you have a question for Jeremy Lin, feel free to ask it and we'll make sure that we get that inside the hangout. Without further ado, we want to introduce the man of the hour, Jeremy Lin. As he sees from his lower third on the screen, he says, I play basketball sometimes, huh?
Yeah. Hey everyone, this is Jeremy. Just want to thank everyone for joining, and we'll just have a casual conversation, so hopefully we have some fun.
We are going to have some fun. Obviously, everyone knows Jeremy Lin from the Linsanity craze, but we're going to talk a little bit about off the basketball court as well, some of the charitable endeavors that you're doing and some of the important work that you are doing as well off the court. So just to give some brief introductions here, February 2012, hard to turn on the TV without hearing about Linsanity. You went from NBA anonymity to the cover of Sports Illustrated, GQ magazine in just 2 short years. Linsanity was a cultural phenomenon surrounding you, nothing short of amazing. In fact, I love this quote from the NBA Commissioner David Stern. He says, I haven't done a computation, but it's fair to say that no player has created the interest and the frenzy in this short period of time in any sport that I'm aware of like Jeremy Lin. So we just are thrilled to have you in our hangout tonight. Thank you so very much.
Thanks for having me.
We also want to introduce our very special guests, and when I was reading some of their bios, truly amazing individuals, members of our military who are doing some important work as well. Let's start off with Carrie Miller. Hi, Carrie. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi. I'm Carrie Miller. I'm a Paralympic silver medalist. I play sitting volleyball, and I'm former Army.
Absolutely. Carrie is a rock star and what she's endured in her life as well. She played wheelchair basketball before discovering sitting volleyball, and you now train with the U.S. women's sitting team at the University of Central Oklahoma. Is that correct?
Yes, that's where we're based out of.
Great. Well, it's excellent to have you joining us tonight. Let's also go to Colorado Springs. We have some wrestlers that are joining us. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello. You want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, yes, I'm Sergeant Joe Betterman. I'm the United States Army. I'm the wrestler for the World Class Athlete Program.
Nate?
Justin Lester, Sergeant Justin Lester. I'm also with the World Class Athlete Program, 2012 Olympian.
I'm Nate Engel, and I'm a sergeant in the U.S. Army, part of the World Class Athlete Program, and I'm currently ranked number 2 out of 121.
Excellent. So glad you guys joined us from Colorado Springs. We also have Master Chief Jim Hurt. He is the 9th Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy. Hi, Jim. How you doing?
Hi, Sarah, and hi, everyone. It's great to be with you this evening.
Excellent. Also, let's go to Austin Harefield. Austin, how are you? You want to introduce us and your cohort, Kevin, to your right. And you're muted.
Yes, Sarah. My name is Austin Harefield, and this is K-Bear. I am muted.
No, you're fine. You're good. We heard you. We are so glad that you are here today. We also have some very special kiddos as well from Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Hi, guys.
Hello. Hey.
It's great to see you. Can you real quick tell me all of your names there and what grade you're in?
I'm Owen Johnson. I'm in 7th grade, and I play shooting guard.
I'm Antoine McCoy, and I'm in the 8th grade, and I play power forward.
I'm Jalen. I'm in the 6th grade, and I play point guard. In 7th grade. I'm Kalante Kelly. I play power forward, and I'm in 6th grade.
My name is Victor. I'm in 8th grade, and I play center.
We did very that person.
Excellent. We were so glad to have you all joining us today. We have comments coming in by the many here all over our social sites. But before we get to some of these questions, we want to start with some of your questions. So why don't we start with the guy in the yellow shirt there with the Fort Campbell Snipers. What's your question or comment for Jeremy Lin?
I was wondering, what is one of your hardest rookie duties?
I had quite a few. I would say the most embarrassing one is I had to wear a pink Tinkerbell backpack on every road trip. And so we would walk through literally the arena, and there'd be a camera there. It might be a nationally televised game, and I would have to wear my Tinkerbell backpack. So that was probably the toughest one. Other ones were just like getting donuts or getting people food early in the morning, or bringing like In-N-Out burger to the team plane. But definitely the backpack one's the worst.
Thank you.
Tinkerbell backpack, you certainly got it like that. Jim Hurt, you were mentioning that there are some parallels, obviously, between leadership on the team and also leadership in the military as well. You have a question.
Well, certainly. Thank you, Sarah. Jeremy, I'd just like to get your thoughts on leadership. There are so many parallels in terms of the attributes of the typical veteran and service member of today, the young men and women that serve so ably across the country, that I spend a lot of time talking to employers about those attributes. But it seems to me that there's probably a lot of matching up in terms of team, loyalty, communication, commitment, all of those things that really, a sense that you're really part of something bigger than yourself. And I just would like to get your thoughts on that and have you talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think basketball doesn't really compare to all the things that you guys are doing in your day-to-day jobs, but it's still, teamwork is definitely still important for us, and I think as a leader, the number one thing, or the top two things you have to do is you have to lead by example. And so, whether it's your work ethic or the way you talk to people or treat people, basically I think you have to have the respect of other people in order to be an effective leader. And then also the second thing is to be able to bring the best out of your the people that you're working with. So for me and my teammates, being the point guard of a team, or being the guy who brings the ball up, making sure that the guys are okay in terms of touches, they're getting their touches at the right time where they like the ball, and just to make sure that everybody's in tune, because if anybody checks out, it's kind of the leader's job to be able to make sure he's okay, or to be able to pull him to the side and know how to push him, whether it's getting in his face and yelling at him, or whether it's doing it more softly. And so I think it's definitely a lot of personal friendship and relationship and bonding that you have to do to be able to understand who you're talking to.
All right. Who's the least favorite person that you like to be matched up with?
There's a few of them. There are definitely some tough players. I know before Derrick Rose got hurt, he was definitely really tough to guard. And I think one of the tough things about him is that he's always in attack mode. And so, as a defender, you're kind of always retreating, and you're kind of always trying to catch up to him with his speed and his athleticism. And so I just remember Derrick Rose being really tough to guard.
Let's go to Austin Harefield. Austin was a member of the UNC men's varsity fencing team and is part of the 14th Air Support Operations Squadron. You have a question for Jeremy Lin.
Well, I would actually just like to add to what he was saying there, and talking about some similarities, and just with how you can really have to step up. Example I would ask Jeremy about would be, how was it when he was on New York and he had two of the biggest players on the team, one of them getting injured and one of them having a family crisis? being in that situation where you pretty much have to step up or get off the court. And so kind of just asking him about how that was, and then seeing, just curious his perspective on that and seeing how that compares to the idea of being on a team, maybe athletic or military-wise, on a mission, and then the idea of obviously having to step up and then make sure everyone is safe and doing your job, because otherwise something horrible is going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was a really crazy situation with our top 2 players going down at the same time. I think preparation is really important. One thing that helped me a lot was my strength coach and one of my assistant coaches. They were on me every single day. And so when I wasn't playing, I had to go in there. I had to do extra lifts. I had to do extra workouts. And, whether it's conditioning before games or whatever, we had to do a lot of different things just to make sure that if, my number did get called, or if the opportunity did come, then I'd be ready for it. And then I think also one thing that was really helpful was our teammates. Like, I think the guys had really high character. It wasn't about ego. It wasn't about, glory or fame or shine or whatever. It was about, at that time we had lost a few in a row and we were kind of falling out of the playoff hunt. And so at that time it was kind of just, look, we're all in. We got to find a way to turn the season around. Otherwise, when the playoffs come around, we'll be at home watching. And so I think it was just a lot of people buying in, finally saying, like, okay, we're going to do what the coaches ask of us. And I think that's why it worked out so well.
Yeah. Johnny Anderson. Johnny Anderson.
Definitely tell us about your experience.
Yeah, what about your experience, Johnny Anderson?
Your experience.
John, you had a question you were going to ask about cross training.
We have actually 2 questions. One of the questions was, what do you do to refocus, and how do you help teammates refocus at crunch time? We all know it gets stressful when it comes down to the end of a game or overtime or something like that, and everything gets a little hectic. So how do you handle that, and how do you pull your teammates in to accomplish, to get the win?
Yeah, this might be a little ironic, but the one thing that I feel like is most effective for me when I play in crunch time situations is to stop thinking. And that's just as me being a thinker, or oftentimes overanalyzing. Sometimes it just it's more easy for me to take 5 deep breaths during a timeout, and then just kind of remind myself, just trust your instincts, just go play and go have fun. And so a lot of times when my teammates, like if one of my teammates, they get fouled and they have 2 big free throws, right before, I'll walk up to them and I'll just say, dude, just shoot it. Like, you shot it, you've made 100,000 free throws in your life, just shoot it, don't even think. And I think that's the most important thing, is just to go out there, you train, you're good at what you do, that's why you're there, that's why you've made it to, whether it's the world-class athlete program or the NBA or wherever else it may be, it's you've done it and you've shown that you can do it. So when it's crunch time, just trust it and have fun with it. And I think when you do it with a smile on your face, when you enjoy the experience, it's always easier and it's always more memorable, and oftentimes the outcome is better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. Don't think about it. Some advice maybe the snipers in Fort Campbell, Kentucky might be able to use. I understand, guys, you have another question for Jeremy Lin. And again, you are watching a conversation with Jeremy Lin, the second episode of Heroes Hangout. If you have a question, you can share it with the hashtag HeroesHangout. Guys in Kentucky, you have another question?
Yes, like Jeremy Lin, like, what do you give your advice for like young basketball athletes, like on court and like off the court?
I'll start with off the court. For me, I think it starts with academics, because I feel like it doesn't matter at what age you are, you're gonna have to have your academics to be able to, whether it's making it to college or you never know what's gonna happen. So if you have a tough injury or career-ending injury, you're always gonna be able to. You're going to need your education. And so for me, my parents kind of taught me that's what you need to do. And when I came out of high school, I didn't get any scholarship offers. And the Ivy Leagues don't give scholarship offers, but Harvard recruited me to play at their college. And so if I didn't have a certain GPA, I would never have been able to get into the school. And so definitely that helped me. Even though it was in the classroom, it helped me with my career. It allowed me to play at the next level. And then on the court, number one is you got to have fun. Basketball is a game. It really is, and it's a hobby. And so enjoy the game. And then in terms of getting better, I would just say don't be afraid to work on your weaknesses. Don't be afraid to admit your weaknesses. And when you train and when you work, find someone, for me, my weaknesses, is kind of my left hand and, outside shooting. So during the summer, I spent a lot of time. Some workouts, I really don't do anything with my right hand at all. It's all left-handed stuff. And even though I'm not good at it and even though it's frustrating, through time, it gets a lot better. It gets a lot easier. And some of my weaknesses in the past have now become my strengths.
Bob White from Google Plus says, we love Jeremy here in Houston. And Chen Alec says, we support the team wherever Jeremy Lin belongs, as simple as that, period. Also, Scott Wilder says, it would be great to hear about how he adjusted to New York City, Houston, and other challenges in his life. Scott is asking about challenges in your life that you had to overcome, Jeremy.
Every challenge that I go through, it goes kind of back to my faith. My faith in God, in Jesus, and for me, understanding that everything happens for a reason, and oftentimes we only see a small picture, so we might see one thing and it might be a rough situation or a tough situation. For example, like when I got cut a couple times, when I got sent to the D League many times, when I didn't get a scholarship for college, I was always disappointed, really frustrated and angry when I didn't get drafted. But those things all turned out to be good for me because they taught me, they motivated me, and oftentimes God turned the bad situations into good. And I think that's a big part of why my story is what it is, and I'm just thankful and blessed to be able to be in the NBA still today.
Kari Miller, would you like to add to that at all, specifically about overcoming challenges? You have also overcome many challenges in your life. Would you like to add to that?
I'm sorry. No, I think like he pretty much said it. It's just having faith. I think it's, for me, it's having, my religious faith, and then, just overall faith in with my family and within myself that got me through to where I am now. Got me through, losing my legs or not being chosen for the team, and just continuing to fight on and to get stronger, to be better and to be chosen for the team.
Right, and Kari Miller is a Paralympian and former Army as well. Michael from Twitter asks about Jeremy Lin's favorite pre- and post-workout food drink. Jeremy, you want to weigh in on that?
My favorite, well, before the games, I eat pasta, just for extra carbs. So usually it'll be shrimp, pasta, and then I'll put, a couple veggies here and there. I'm not that big on veggies, but I'll get a little bit in there because my mom always tells me to. And then after the game, it's pretty much anything that's in my way I eat. It could be pizza, burgers, whatever. At that point, it's kind of like my body hasn't gotten food for maybe 4 to 6 hours, and I just played a game. And so it's kind of gross to be around, but I eat pretty much everything.
That's great. And the Snipers have a question in Kentucky as well. Snipers, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Jason Walker, support camp Snipers. My question is, who was your role model on and off the court?
My role model on the court was Michael Jordan. I think when we were growing up, I mean, he was a man. He always won. He always hit game winners. There you go. I see we got some MJ supporters. Off the court, I would say it was my older brother. He kind of taught me a lot about what it means to be a man and what it means to grow up and take responsibility and what character means, whether that's perseverance or humility or love and different things like that I think are essential when it comes to just being the type of person that you want to be.
Excellent. I want to bring in John Anderson's team, the wrestlers, and also our fencer with Austin here on this question. And that would be, what would you tell someone who's picked last, or what would you tell someone when they feel that people doubt them? We'll have the military members answer first, and then Jeremy, we'd like to get your answer as well. What would you tell someone when they're worried about people doubting them or being picked last?
I would say that you know, everybody can be a winner. Everybody's got a certain potential. Everybody's got something about them that they can offer to the team. So you just got to figure out what you're good at and work on making that better so you can strengthen the team in some way or another. So just because you got picked last, that doesn't mean you should quit, because you should never quit. You should always strive to be better every day. That's how I would feel about it.
Okay. Justin's group?
For me, being picked last, I kind of, I wouldn't say enjoy it, but like it makes me want to work harder. It gives me something. And you know, those young kids out there, they get picked last. They shouldn't take it so hard. They should turn it into a positive thing, like I'm sure Mr. Lynn has had to do many times. But just turn it positive and get out there and work harder, and eventually you're going to be the spotlight.
Jim Hurt, Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy.
Certainly. Well, I would just say there were certainly a lot of times in my career that I didn't get selected for the job that I wanted or that I thought that I wanted. And the real key, I think, is to focus on what it is you're doing and not get so wrapped up on what you want to do next. But if, you know, in reflecting back on all of that, if I had gotten any one of those jobs, I would have not been in the position that I was to be selected to be the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy. And I suspect that that's probably true for Jeremy too. That if you do, you know, when you get to a point in your life, when you get a little older, and I'm probably the oldest guy here, you get a little older, you look back at those things that you thought you wanted to do and that you were crushed when you weren't selected to do. They didn't help you get to where you ultimately end up. So just staying focused on what it is, you know, what Austin said in terms of concentrating on what you do well and concentrating on the job before you and not get too far out in front of your headlights.
All right. Jeremy, would you like to weigh in on that?
Yeah, it's very similar to what everyone's saying. Definitely, it's motivating. It also takes a little bit of pressure off of me. I just remember, you know, whenever I did get cut or whenever, you know, I didn't get chosen, I just told myself, like, all right, for the next X amount of time, I'm gonna be the first one in the gym and I'll be the last one to leave. And you know, that's gonna be my motto, or that's gonna be what I hang my hat on. And so whether it works out or it doesn't work out down the road, the one thing I will be able to say is I outworked everybody and I worked harder than everybody else and I gave my best effort. And sometimes, you know, that still isn't enough for where you want to get to, but as long as you can do that, I think that's, you know, that's the best way to look at it. It's, you know, to be able to give your best effort and say, I really have no regrets.
Excellent. Well, we're going to do a speed round here before we wrap up, and we will go to Clarksville, Tennessee, with the snipers there to see if you guys have any last questions. And if you have any last questions here for Jeremy Lin, I have a whole sheet full. We could keep you here for hours and hours. But go ahead, guys. You have the speed round question there. Go ahead, snipers in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Hello, my name is Nolan. I've already asked you a question, but I would like to ask you another one. Was it hard being a Christian while being in the NBA?
Absolutely. I think there's always going to be temptations, not just in the NBA, but there's always temptations in life. And also, I think there's going to be a lot of people that look at you. There's always going to be your peers who are always constantly looking at you. And if you come out and say you stand for anything, it doesn't matter what it is, there's always going to be people looking. And so just to make sure that when you do live your life, it is consistent and that you try to do it as consistently as you can.
Thank you.
And Austin, you have a nutritional question.
Well, actually, it's not me, but it's this guy.
Kevin
I was
Dunn.
going to ask Jeremy, how do you maintain muscle mass as far as nutrition-wise? Like, what kind of foods do you eat? What kind of how much protein do you take? that kind of stuff to maintain what muscle you do have during season without losing anything.
There's so many games.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing that I really struggled with last year was maintaining my strength. I would, because you don't get to lift as much during season and your body's kind of always tired. I would say the things that helped me were protein shakes. Right after every practice, right after every game. Sometimes if it was a long game, take 2 protein shakes. And then there's a certain window of time after a game where you need to get food in you as soon as possible. And so I would try to get, chicken or beef or anything just to be able to get that protein and start that regeneration process. And I also think sleep. Sleep is really, really important. Trying to get like 8.5 hours a night minimum just so that the muscles can regenerate the way they're supposed to. And napping and definitely carbs too. Carbs before you work out. Like that's why I eat the pasta and I take a little carb chews and little things like that, because if I'm burning the carbs, then I don't have to go into the other sources of energy, whether it's muscle or fat.
Sounds good. Let's head to Colorado Springs with our wrestlers. Johnny Anderson, you have a question or comment for Jeremy Lin.
Jeremy, we just wanted to know what the toughest sport is outside of wrestling.
You know what? I can agree with that, because I did wrestling and I did wrestling like just for fun, and I was dead in like 10 seconds. I had no energy left. I was like, dude, I've only been going for 10 seconds. Why am I out of breath? So it's definitely got a lot of respect for you guys. I would probably say football, just because every time the ball snaps, someone's trying to take your head off.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Carrie, any parting words for Jeremy Lin?
I think for me, I just think that he was very inspirational. I mean, I remember being going downtown in New York because my family lives out there, and seeing people going and buying out all his jerseys. And what is that like, being such, just the things that you do, being such inspiration for so many people? Like, and it was really weird because I was reading about how you were like on the couch, staying at your brother's house, like just broke, to all of a sudden everybody in the world knows your name. So I'm just wondering, what is it like for you? Like, how is that?
It was pretty crazy and scary and overwhelming at first. Like you said, it was just like I just wanted to play basketball, and I didn't know everything was going to happen the way it happened. But the one thing I've kind of, after a little over a year, I've been able to take a step back and really appreciate everything. To be able to say, that was so much fun. The city of New York was on fire, just with energy and enthusiasm, and our team was having a ton of fun on the court. And so it was really, really a memorable experience, and something I'll be able to have and cherish for the rest of my life.
Excellent. And we'll close here with the snipers in Fort Campbell. Guys, do you have a final question?
Hey, Jeremy, this is Coach Mike from the team. Like I said, I have representatives from 4 different age levels here, and we would just like to say thank you. This has been a great experience for our boys. I know they won't forget it, and I appreciate you making the time for these young soldier dependents and family members. And like I said, just well appreciated. And we thank you for this.
Thank you guys. It was nice to meet you guys, and good luck with your your upcoming basketball, and thanks for everything you do for us.
And Jim Hurts, I didn't forget about you.
Well, I thought you might have. I thought we might be running out of time. Jeremy, I just want to give you a virtual high five for being the role model that you are in a world that sometimes it's hard, as you mentioned, to be a positive role model. In particular, in some sports, we don't do so well. But having a value system that you live, it's important for these young snipers, and for all of us, young and old, to see that there's someone out there that lives a value system that is worth emulating. So I just want to say thank you for all you do for all of us, and these young men and women that serve our country so well. To have someone like you to look up to is really important. So thank you so much.
Thank you as well for everything you do for us as well. I think that's a big part of why I wanted to do this, just to be able to say thank you to you guys as well. you know, it's a lot more important than some of the stuff that we're doing on the basketball court. So thank you.
It's been a pleasure to be joined by you today, Jeremy, and also joined by our members of the military. We are here because you were there, and we appreciate your service to our country. We appreciate you joining us for the second episode of the Heroes Hangout. I'm Sarah Hill from the Veterans United Network. Have a great night.